Prebiotic foods are everywhere in the gut health conversation right now, and for a good reason. The research on it is solid, but here's what you don't hear often, especially if you have chronic gut condition like Crohn's, colitis, any forms of IBD, or even just a history of severe IBS. The most prebiotic dense foods on the planet might actually make you feel worse. And I see this in my practice constantly. Today, I'm breaking down what prebiotics actually are, the best food sources, why IBD changes everything, and when a smarter snack option actually makes clinical sense. Stay with me on this one. It's worth the full watch. I'm Dr. Ina Melamed, doctor of pharmacy, pharmacist with close to 3 decades of experience, functional medicine practitioner since 2009, and I specialize in chronic gut conditions, Crohn's, colitis, IBS, SIBO. Everything I share here is grounded in both current research and real clinical expertise. Not trends, not affiliate marketing, not fluff. Let's get into it. And always speak to your doctor first. So what's actually happening when you eat a prebiotic food? Prebiotics are non-digestible fibers. They travel through your small intestine without being absorbed. They land in your colon, and that's where your gut bacteria takes over. Your bacteria ferment those fibers, and the byproducts of that fermentation is short-chain fatty acids, specifically butyrate. They talked about that one. Acetate and propionate. These short-chain fatty acids are not minor players. They lower the pH of your colon, which discourages pathogens growth. They feed the cell lining of your gut wall. They regulate your immune system. They influence your mood through the gut-brain axis. A 2024 review confirmed that mechanism of a prebiotic selectively promoted bifidobacteria and lactobacilli, which are the beneficial strains most depleted in the gut dysfunction. The main prebiotic fiber types: inulin, fructooligosaccharides, FOSs, galactooligosaccharides, GOSs, resistant starch, and beta glucans and polyphenols. Yes, these count too. Each one feeds slightly different bacteria. Variety, fiber types, more microbiome diversity, that's the goal. Key. Let me walk you through the heavy hitters. Real food first, always. Number 1, the allium family: garlic, onion, leeks, chives, shallots. 2023 study from the American Society for Nutrition ranked garlic, leeks, and onions in the top 5 most prebiotic dense foods on the planet, up to 240 milligrams of prebiotics per gram of foods. Raw is always best. Cooking breaks down some of that fiber structure, so raw garlic in the dressing, lightly cooked onions, raw leek slices. Excellent, excellent. Number 2, Jerusalem artichokes, also called sunchoke, one of the highest inulin concentrations of any food. Incredible prebiotic density. You can roast it, slice it into raw, into salad, shred it. Number 3, unripe bananas. Note the unripe part. Green or slightly yellow bananas have significant resistant starch. As banana ripen, that resistant starch converts into sugar. If your goal is prebiotic activity, go slightly underripe. Number 4, oats and barley, Both are rich in beta-glucan fiber. This is well-researched prebiotic that supports beneficial bacteria and is one of the most tolerable fibers even in sensitive gut. Problem is, oats have high chance of gluten cross-contamination, and barley is pure gluten and might be a big issue for people like us with sensitivity. Number 5, asparagus, dandelion greens, and chicory root. High inulin content, dandelion greens are one of the most overlooked prebiotic foods, superfoods really. You can saute them or use them raw in salads. Also on that list, apples, pectin and soluble fiber, about 3 to 4 grams per apple. Berries, polyphenols from berries that feed beneficial bacteria. Legumes, lentils, chickpea, black beans, GOS and resistant starch. Flaxseed, soluble fiber with prebiotic effect. The goal is not to eat all of these at once. The goal is variety, diversity, rotating your fiber sources over the week or so. You're feeding a diverse ecosystem of bacteria. Now, here's where I need to speak directly to anyone watching who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, or who is coaching someone who does. The research is clear. IBD significantly reduces intestinal microbial diversity. A 2025 review in Frontier in Cellular and Infection Microbiology confirmed that Crohn's patients have markedly lower diversity than healthy controls. Fewer beneficial bacteria, more harmful ones, and a disrupted microbial ecosystem. This is not a minor distinction. It changes how prebiotic foods function in your gut. Here's why. Prebiotics are fermented by bacteria. The more diverse and robust your microbiome, the smoother that fermentation process. When your microbial ecosystem is compromised, which is often in the case of IBD, fermentation becomes erratic. What happens? Why? Undigested fiber hits a depleted microbiome. The bacteria that are there might not be the right ones to efficiently process that high inulin food. The result is gas production, bloating, pain, cramping, distension, sometimes worsened diarrhea. Not the goal. So someone with Crohn's eating Jerusalem artichoke because they read it was good and the best prebiotic food, and then they feel terrible. And they think that they did something wrong. They get discouraged. They didn't. The food wasn't wrong. The sequencing was wrong. For IBD clients, here's my signature approach. 1. Start with cooked, gentle fibers, well-cooked carrots, sometimes even oats, peeled apples, not raw garlic, not Jerusalem artichokes. 2. Avoid high inulin foods during active flares. This is not the time for aggressive prebiotics. 3. Work on the gut lining repair and inflammation reduction first. You need something for the bacteria to live in before you can successfully populate it with more diversity. 4. Control those prebiotic fibers like large arabinogalactan in supplement form can be a gentler entry point than the whole food inulin. 5. It's always individualized. What triggers one IBD patient may be tolerated by another. Track your response, write it down. The goal is eventually to be able to eat more prebiotic-rich whole foods, but you earn that by building a healthier terrain first. All right, real food first. I've said it. I mean it. But let's be realistic about modern life. You're traveling. You're in a meeting. You don't have time to roast a Jerusalem artichoke at 3 p.m. When you need to grab and go option, here's what I look for. Therapeutic level fiber, at least 6 to 8 grams, not 1 to 2, as a marketing checkbox. Clean ingredients, no inflammatory seed oils, no refined sugar, nothing I can't pronounce, clinically backed prebiotic fibers, large arabinogalactan, tapioca fiber, inulin in reasonable doses, low glycemic, blood sugar spike, stress your gut immune system. I don't want that in gut health snack. Dairy-free and gluten-free. Personally, I recommend it for myself, my clients, and that's recommended for many of IBD clients. After a lot of evaluation, I was able to find a bar that I recommend. It's called CoCommune Bar by Designs for Health. I'm not affiliated with the brand. Here's what's in it. Large arabinogalactan, a prebiotic fiber that specifically supports beneficial bacteria, improves bowel regularity, and has immune modulating activity. This is not a filler fiber, it's a functional ingredient. Tapioca fiber and plant fibers, soluble, gentler fermentation, good for regularity without the aggressive gas response that high inulin can trigger. Coconut and coconut oil, medium chain fatty acids, about 50% lauric acid, which has documented antimicrobial properties. Rapidly metabolized for energy. 8 grams of fiber per bar, that's a meaningful number. 0 added sugar, allulose, and touch of stevia, only 1 gram of total sugar. And it's gluten-free and dairy-free, which as someone personally gluten-free and dairy-free matters to me a lot on a practical level as well. It tastes like a coconut chocolate bar. My clients eat it without complaining, which in gut health supplementation is saying a lot. For anyone dealing with constipation, the fiber blend support, regularity, for IBD clients, it's a gentle prebiotic option that is a whole food source, and it's used during that build-up process. I'll put the link in the description. So here's the bottom line. Prebiotics are one of the most evidence-backed, accessible tools we have for long-term gut health. The research is solid and the mechanism makes tremendous sense. Food first, garlic, onions, unripe bananas, asparagus, legumes. Build it into your actual eating. That's the non-negotiable foundation. Snacks are options. If you have Crohn's and colitis, if you understand that your gut terrain requires a different approach, low and slow. Go low and slow, gentle first. Aggressive prebiotic loading during a compromised microbiome state will backfire. And when you need a grab and go option that doesn't undo your great work with the coach, here's the bar that I recommend. And again, the CoCommune bar link is under this video. And I've seen my clients do really well with it. As always, if you're working with the practitioner, if you're working with healthcare provider, medical provider, ask first. I'm here with Any questions, put the comments under the video. I'm happy to answer. Share it with someone who's managing IBD and has needs and questions that haven't been answered, because it's not as simple as take this pill and it will help. Sometimes medications help, and quite often they feel like you're exhausted. Your inflammatory markers might be down, but you still feel incredibly tired. This was Dr. Ina with you at Digestive Reset and Melamed Institute. I provide this content weekly, so please share, subscribe, let me know with your feedback if you found this helpful, and I will see you next week.